Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalam ala sharafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma infa'ni bima 'allamtani wa 'allimni ma yanfa'uni wa zidni ilman subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi ishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everything that has a beginning will have an end. So our class is also not an exception. It looks like we just started a couple of days back, and now here we are standing on the final episode of this basic Arabic course. All the creations except the creator has a beginning, and that is why they all have an end. So inshallah, today we are going to try to wrap up this basic Quranic Arabic course, the 20th episode, and in this inshallah we will try to complete one of the facet of the present tense. So present, as you might have realized, we have started like fail from last, I think this is the 6th episode of the fail, and except for the first 2 episodes, all we are talking about is the present tense. So the first 3 episodes in the present tense were of the 3 different forms of present tense: normal, light, lightest. Okay, then now we are going to take a look at the commanding and forbidding form of present tense. Yes, technically it looks like these are different things. Command is different than present tense, or forbidding is different than present tense. But as far as the Arabic language is concerned, it is one of the subcategory of the present tense, because to create a command or to create a forbidding statement, you have to start from the present tense. You create those words, or the words, the base of those words are in the present tense. So that's why they are a kind of a derivative of it. Okay, so let's get started. So today inshallah we're going to close down these 2 topics of forbidding statement and the commanding statement. Okay, so let me start the slides and share it. Out of these 2, the commanding and the forbidding, forbidding is the easiest. Both are easy, nothing, no rocket science into it. But relatively in these 2, the forbidding is easier. So inshallah we'll start with forbidding and then end with commanding. Okay. So what is forbidding basically? Forbidding basically is a statement where we ask someone not to do something, to stay away from something. Okay. That's what is the forbidding. Don't write, don't sleep, don't go there, don't come near. All these do not, those are all the forbidding statement. Now try to look at it practically and logically, and think there are 2 conditions that should be fulfilled for any forbidding statement to be practically happening. When we practically use this forbidding statement, there are 2 things that should be there, or that those 2 conditions should be satisfied. What are those 2 conditions? These questions are for the new students, not the students who are already studying with us. Okay, so what are the 2 conditions that you think should be there for forbidding to happen? Otherwise the forbidding will not happen or will not make sense. What do you think? Any idea?
It should be in present tense.
Yes, exactly. It should be in the present tense. You cannot forbid someone in the past. As we just said yesterday, we have been saying from couple of sessions that past is something where the thing is done and dusted. It's gone. Now nothing can be done about it. So you can't forbid someone. Okay, so it has to be present tense. What else? One more condition, logical.
It has to be second person.
It has to be second person. So looks like, I don't know who is answering it, but either our student or this student has already knows the aspect about it. Anyway, yes, those are the right answers. That it can only happen in present tense, the forbidding. It cannot happen in past. It cannot happen in future. It has to happen now. Second thing is, it has to be in the second person. I can't forbid someone who is not there. I can't forbid myself. I can't forbid someone who is not there. So there are only three persons. I mean, three person aspects in the language. First person, second person, third person. Forbidding is only possible in second person. That person has to be in front of me. Then only forbidding happens. So these are the two obvious conditions that should be fulfilled. Okay. So which means if you think practically or with respect to the language or whatever we have studied so far, what this means is this is a good news for us. Why? Because now we are talking about forbidding is only related to second person, which means in that table, out of the 14 words, how many are relevant to us now?
6.
Only 6. In that also I will give you a bonus. There are only 5 actually. The middle dual one is same for male and female. So you only have 5 words, and those 5 words or 5 pronoun related verbs are anta, antuma, antum, anti, antunna. That's it. So as far as forbidding is concerned, you should only be worried about these verbs or the verbs that have these pronouns inside them. Basically the row number 3 and 4. That's it. We don't care about row number 1 and 2 and the 5 because they are related to first person and third person. That's a good news. So only 5 words to worry about for the forbidding. Okay. So that's the logical condition you should remember. Then here are the steps how to create a forbidding statement. Okay. Step number 1, please keep your mics muted if you are not speaking. I am hearing some squeaking noise. Okay, Jazakallah. So here are the steps to create a forbidding statement. Now obviously when we are forbidding, all of the statements are going to be don't, do not. Those are the forbidding. If that statement is not there, forbidding is not going to make any sense. So definitely the step number 1 is add a la. Start with the word la. La means don't. It also means no, but in this context it will usually mean don't. Okay, you start with this la. And then the second and the final step. There are only 2 steps to create a forbidding statement. The second step is that present tense. Okay, so let me rephrase and make it more proper for the students who did not get it by now. The forbidding statement can only be created from the present tense. Okay, so you have to always start with the present tense word. Always start. Many students they remember the steps but they forget how to start. So many a times they are starting with the past tense word and they don't go anywhere. They don't get the answer. So you have to start with the present tense word. So whomever I want to forbid, let's say I want to forbid a female singular. So I have to start with that present tense word. Okay. So you start with the present tense word, add a la to it and make that present tense word into the lightest form. Now this was one of the reasons we studied the concept of lightest. So those of you who are thinking like, what is this lightest? Why do I need to do it? Here is one of the reasons. There are many reasons. Here is that one of the reasons that if you don't know how to make lightest or if you don't understand that, then you won't be able to understand the forbidding concept in it. So to create a forbidding statement, you need only 2 steps. Start with the present tense, okay, that's assumed, and then add a la, make the present tense into the lightest form. That's it. Your forbidding statement is ready. To whomever you want to forbid, that statement is ready. So for example, if we take our favorite family of verbs, nasara yansuru, okay, so definitely nasara is of no use to us because we have to start with the present tense. Okay, which first word should I start with in the present tense table?
Ta.
Which is tansuru basically. That's the first word which will be applicable for forbidding. Tansuru. Okay, yansuru is of no use here. Tansuru. Okay, so I take the word tansuru. The step number 1 is add a la. Okay, so it becomes la tansuru. But the step number 2 is make the present tense lightest. So what do you get?
Make the last letter.
La tansur.
La tansur.
That's what you get. That's it. So what was the meaning of tansuru? Tansuru means you help. Okay. So la tansur, Don't help. And who in the bracket you can assume the target audience is you masculine male singular. Don't help. That's in the bracket. Okay, we don't say those things. Hey, you singular male, don't help. No, that's understood. So when you say la tansur, it means don't help. Do not help. How will you say both of you male don't help?
Tansura.
ला तंसुरा, नॉट जस्ट तंसुरा. तंसुरा फिर वो तंसुरा बजाते रह जाएगा. ला तंसुरा, बोथ ऑफ यू डोंट हेल्प. हाउ विल यू से ऑल ऑफ यू मेल डोंट हेल्प? ला तंसुरु. हे, ऑल ऑफ यू डोंट हेल्प. ला तंसुरु. ला तंसुर, ला तंसुरा, ला तंसुरु. How will you say to the girl, hey, don't help?
La tansuri.
La tansuri. That's it. Tansurina is the word. Make it lightest. What? And you don't forget the concept of lightest. What you're supposed to do? Well, drop the noons, right? And put a sukoon on the dhammas and don't touch the female words. That's it. So this is the female singular. We can definitely modify it. So la tansuri. Again the dual will be same. La tansura. How will you say to all the women? I know you can't say it, but just in the case hypothetically, if you can say to all the women, don't help. How will you say? La tansurna. Of course you will have to add please there. Please don't help. Okay? La tansurna. Don't help. Got it? That's how easy it is. Add a la, make it lightest. Your forbidding is ready. Okay? Let's quickly do some practice. Here is the verb. Taj'aluna. Make it forbidding. La taj'alu. Don't change. No, la taj'ulu nahi hai wo. Don't change the word. The word should be same. La taj'alu. Okay? La taj'alu. Ja'ala yaj'alu means to make. So la taj'alu is a plural word. Hey, all of you male, don't make. Or it could be a combination of male or female. As we said, male can be used for both. Okay? So don't make. Hey, don't make. La taj'alu. Tuhafizani. Make it forbidding. La tuhafiza. La tuhafiza. That is the forbidding of, right? Tuhafiza. La tuhafiza. What about this? Tataqatta'ani. La tataqatta'a. La tataqatta'a. Okay, what about this? Oh, we have an extra student. Okay, tusari'na. Don't mess with this word. This is female plural. La tusari'na. La tusari'na. La tusari'na. Tankurani. La tankura. Don't forget the alif. This is dual. Okay? This is the dual. So don't forget the alif. Tankura comes from nakara, nakarna, inkar karna. Don't deny. Don't deny. Both of you don't deny. Okay? Tattakhizuna. La tattakhizu. All of you don't take. Tatazakkaru. La tatazakkar. La tatazakkar. Tatazakkaru. La tatazakkar. See that? It's easy. Add a la, make it lightest. Forbidding done. Let's do some practice of translation. Okay? This was how to convert it. Now what happens when I'm reading Quran and a word comes and I see la and the next word lightest? I need to start understanding that. So if you get something like this, La tahsabi. La tahsabi. Okay, what do you think? What's the number, gender, person on this word tahsabi? Come on, quickly.
Singular, feminine.
Yeah,
Feminine, singular.
singular feminine. Yeah, singular feminine. And what's the meaning of the word?
Do not congregate.
Do not. Hasiba yahsabu, to assume. Assume.
Hasabi. Do not assume.
So don't assume. Don't assume. In bracket, you female singular. Don't assume. Don't assume. La tunzil. Of course, these are all second person. So the very few, only 5 words you have to analyze quickly. Is it single, dual? Yeah, that's it. Second person male. Yeah, that's it. We don't need to say second person. All the commands forbidding are second person. So singular male. That's it. And this is anzala yunzilu, to send down. Hey, don't send down.
Do not send down.
Don't send down. That's it. Don't send down. La takhruja. La takhruja.
Dual. Take.
How many answers? How many answers will be there? 2. 2. Usually there are 3 for the ta and ani, but this one is forbidding. So you have to restrict yourself to second person. So la takhruja, kharaja yakhruju means to leave. So la takhruja, both of you don't leave. It could be male, it could be female. Both of you don't leave. La takhruja. La taj'alu. La taj'alu.
Plural, male. Do not make.
Yeah,
Don't make.
all of you don't make.
All of you don't make.
All of you don't make. La taj'alu. La ta'mali.
Singular, feminine.
Yeah.
Do.
Don't do. That's it. Don't work. Female singular. Don't work. Don't do it. That's it. That's all. That was there. Which sounded like how do you create forbidding in Arabic? This is how you create. Once you understand the concepts and you have put some efforts, the forbidding becomes so easy. Just keep adding la and keep making it lightest, you will get all the answers. Okay? So now let's go to the other side of the coin of this aspect of present tense. So one side is forbidding. The other side, opposite of forbidding, if you want to tell someone, hey, do it, help, write, go, that is command. Or it could be a request. It could be a request. You see, in English, in many of the languages, they don't have separate words for command or request. It's the same word. We might have not realized, or we don't realize generally. In English also, it's the same word. It's the same word used for request, same word used for command. There's only minor difference, which we think that, okay, English has separate request and the command format. No, it's the same. If you want to say someone help, now whether you are saying the word hey help, whether you are saying it to someone who is younger to you, or who is at the lower level than you, whatever it is, then you just say hey help. But if you are saying that to same thing to someone who is higher in status or elder than you, or someone who is in a higher position, then if you want to say that, you still use the word help. What do? You just add a please there. Please help. That's what you do. But the word is same. In Arabic also, we have the same word. Of course, we don't, I mean, in at least in the Qur'an, as classical Arabic, we don't use the word please there. It's understood from the context that the request and the command is same. We use the same. If the basic principle is, whoever is saying that command with respect to the one to whom he is saying or she is saying, if that person is in the higher status or elder or whatever it is, then it becomes a request automatically. The same thing in Quran also. You will see that we use the same words with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that doesn't mean we are commanding. When when we are saying those words to Allah, then it's a request automatically. Or yeah, it's not a command, it's a request. It's a pleading. Okay? So how to create this commanding? Well, first of all, this is the Arabic word you might come across. It's called as fail amr. Amr means command. And the other one, nahi, the Arabic word for that is fail nahi. In the nahi ke liye fail nahi. Okay. Amr and nahi. Nahi means forbidding. What is this commanding? Okay, basically when we ask someone not to do something, then by this very, okay, not to do something, no, it should be to do something. Okay, again, this, whether forbidding or commanding, both of them need to satisfy these two conditions. They should be in the present tense and they should be in the second person. So both of them are related. Forbidding or commanding cannot happen with these two conditions fulfilled, second person and present tense. So again, good news, we are restricted to the 5 pronouns only. Okay, so all those verbs which are having these pronouns inside them, we will be concerned with only those verbs. Rest we don't care for the commanding. Okay, fine. So now, how do we create a commanding? Well, commanding is also similar to the forbidding, except based on the situation, it might have an additional step. So the forbidding was completed in 2 steps. Commanding can also be completed in 2 steps. But after executing those 2 steps, based on the output, what type of output did we get after we executed these 2 steps? Based on that, we might need the 3rd step or we may not. Most of the time we don't, but at times we might need a 3rd step. Okay, so what happens is, okay, how do I know, do I need the 3rd step or not? Basically what happens is, the steps that are carried out on the word to create a command, at times the result of that 2 steps is such that the final product, the word, the word that is a result of these 2 steps is in such a status, in such a position that we can't even pronounce that word. Because of those 2 steps that were carried on in it, the word is not pronunciable. We can't pronounce it. Oh, okay, so what do we do? Well, we have to come up with some, as in Indian language they call it as jugaad. Okay, so we have to come up with some workaround, fix to make it readable, to make it pronunciable. Okay, so that is the 3rd step. So basically the 3rd step is, if after 2 steps the resulting word is unreadable, then we add an extra alif in the beginning of the word. This is the workaround to make it readable. Okay, that's the workaround we need it. But if the resulting word is readable after 2 steps, then we don't need it. Then we don't need to add an alif. Whatever word is there after the 2 steps, that's the final commanding word. Okay, that's what it means basically. So this is the extra step that might be required for it. Otherwise, it's the same thing. You start with the present tense again. Okay, so let's take a look at the creation of the commanding by taking the example of 3 different types of verbs. We will take 3 different verbs and do those steps on all of them simultaneously and see how they react to these steps of commanding. So the step number 1, again, whatever was the step number 2 there will be step number 1 here, because we don't have the word la here. We don't want to make a negative command, we are making a positive command, so we don't need the word la. So the step number 2 was make it lightest. That will become step number 1 here. So make the present tense lightest, whatever you want to whomever you want to command, take that respective present tense verb and make it lightest. So let's take these 3 verbs, tasjudu, tadhakina and tunafisuna. These are the 3 verbs we have taken as an example, as a model to study how the commanding works. Okay, what are they? Tasjudu, tazhakina and tunafisuna. And when we do the first steps on it, make it lightest, the words become tasjud, tazhaki and tunafisu when you make it lightest. Okay, that's the step number 1. Fine. What's the step number 2 here? Well, the step number 2 says that get rid of that initial ta. Since we are dealing with the present tense and second person, of course, all of them will have ta in the beginning. All of them will have ta. The step number 2 says get rid of that ta. We don't need that ta. So remove the ta from all the 3 words. And when you do that, this is what happens. Tasjudu becomes something like this. Tazhakina becomes something like this. And tunafisuna, when I get rid of tu, it becomes nafisu. So as you can see, we are only able to read the third word, nafisu. The remaining 2, even though you say, yeah, I can read it, no, you can't read it. Because you cannot read a word which starts with sukun, which starts with a jazm. You can't read it. You need some harkat on the first word to make it readable. But all these 2, the tasjudu and tazhaki, when you remove the ta, they are not pronounceable. So which means after 2 steps, we only have 1 word ready, which is nafisu. So nafisu is the command form for tunafisuna. Tunafisuna ka command kya hai? Nafisu. That's it. But what's the command for tasjudu and tazhaki? Well, we don't have it yet. We will have to do the step number 3 for it. Then only we will get it. Okay. So let's do the step number 3. The step number 3 is add a alif in front of these words. Begin these words with alif. Okay. So when we add a alif, it becomes like this. Tasjudu becomes usjud. Okay. And tazhakina becomes izhaki. Okay. I'm pretty sure many of you have one question for me. And what is that question?
How to put dhamma and kasra?
Why did one of the word get dhamma while the other word got a kasra? How do we decide it? Yeah. So there is a rule, and that is whenever you add a helper alif, this is, we are just calling it as a helper alif because it helps us to make it readable. So whenever you add a helper alif to the word, then you should put a harkat on that alif which is related to the second last root letter or the second root letter. So for this you should be able to figure out what are the root letters. Now in the tasjudu, as you might have, what are the root letters in tasjudu? What do you think? The 3 root letters in tasjudu? Seen, Jim, Dal. Ta is not part of the root letter. Ta is a sign of present tense. For those of you who are wondering how did we get these 3 root letters? Ta is a sign of present tense. So the root letters are Seen, Jim, Dal. Seen, Jim, Dal. And in tazhaki, what are the root letters?
Sod, ha, kaf.
Dod. It is Dod, ha, kaf. Kaf. Okay, how did you know ta is not the root letter? Ta is a sign of present tense. And what about the ya? Well, ya is remaining from the tazhakina. So ina, that's not part of the root. That's added for number, gender, person and all that stuff. So ya is a remainder of that part. And ta is present tense. So what are we left with? Dod, ha, ka. Oh, those are the root letters. Yeah. So when deciding what harkat to put on the helper alif, this is what we do. We look on the second root letter. If the second root letter has got a dhamma on it, then the helper alif gets a dhamma. I repeat, if the second root letter has got a dhamma on it, the helper alif gets a dhamma. In all other situations, the helper alif gets a kasra. That is how we came up with usjud and izhaki. Okay? So this is the rule. If the second last letter, which is second, basically if the 3-letter word, whether you say second last or second, it's the same word. If the second last letter has a dhamma, then add a dhamma over the alif, else kasra. Easy. That's how you get usjud and izhaki. Questions?
Sir, there will be no fatha, right? Anytime.
Okay, so there is a short answer for it and there's a long answer for it. The short answer is yes. In these situations, whenever you come up with these steps, you will never get a fatha. But does that mean in the Arabic language, I will never get a command with a fatha? No, that is incorrect. That is not correct. Okay, that's a long answer. So when do we get fatha? That's a different story. We'll study it. So in these situations, you will not get fatha. In this situation, you will not get fatha, but there can be a command with the fatha on it. Okay, that we'll study in the advanced 1 course. When do you get it? But here, no, you don't get a fatha. So which means if you see a fatha on the command, it has not come from here. It is some other. It has come from a different part of world. Okay. Any other questions? Cool. So that's how we make forbidding and commanding. Let's do some practice with the commanding, just like we did with the forbidding. So here is. Whoa, somebody is tired. Don't worry, today is the last session. From tomorrow onwards, you can directly go to sleep after the suhoor. Okay, so taj'aluna. Okay, what do you think? Okay, let's do it together so that you get the idea how to do it. So taj'aluna. Okay, step number 1, make it lightest. Okay, taj'aluna becomes taj'alu. I have to drop the noon. Taj'alu, good. Okay, second step, drop the ta. Okay, I dropped the ta. Now the first letter becomes jim, which has got a sukoon on it. I can't pronounce it. So I have to do the step number 3, which is add a alif. I add a alif. Now do I add a dhamma or a kasra? Well, the root letters are jala. So the second is ain, which has fatha on it. So anything not dhamma, add a kasra. So add a kasra. So it becomes ij'alu. Ij'alu. Hey, all of you make ij'alu. That's it. That's how you get it. Tuhafizina. Okay, the lightest is tuhafizani. Tuhafiza is the lightest. Drop the tu or hafiza. No need of helper alif. Hafiza. Hey, both of you protect. Both of you memorize. That's it. Hafiza. That's a command. Tataqatta'ani. Okay, lightest. Tataqatta'a. Okay, drop the ta. But still I have one more ta there. Okay, so no need to alif. Taqatta'a. That's it. Taqatta'a. Tusari'na. Lightest. Tusari'na. Okay, drop the ta. Sari'na. No need of helper alif. So in these 3-4 examples, we only faced a situation once where we needed the alif. Rest all of them did not require the alif. Tankurani, lightest. Tankura, drop the ta, cannot pronounce, add a alif. Second last letter has a dhamma, add a dhamma on the alif. Unkura. Unkura. Both of you deny. Unkura. Tattakhizuna, lightest. Tattakhizu. Right? Tattakhizu. Drop the ta. Now you are left with the ta with the shadda. You cannot pronounce it even if it has a shadda. Why? Because shadda means 2 tas. Okay? Shadda means 2 tas. And the first ta is sukun. And then the second ta gets a fatha. That's how they are mixed. So inside it there is a ta which is sukun. So you will have to add a helper alif. So you add a helper alif. The second last letter has got a kasra. So you also get a kasra. So ittakhizu. All of you take. Ittakhizu. They say in the Quran, ittakhazallahu, right? That's a past tense actually, but this comes from the same verb family. Tatazakkaru. Okay, lightest. Tatazakkar. Okay, drop the ta. Well, I have one more backup ta. So it becomes tazakkar. I don't need alif. Tazakkar. Easy? Questions? Okay, no questions. Let's do some translations of the commanding. So it says, you feminine work. So it is giving a command to a singular feminine. Fine. And the verb is work, which is amila ya'malu. That's the family. So I'm interested in ya'malu. Okay. Ya'malu in the second person becomes ta'malu. Okay. But that's male. Okay. So I need a female. So it will be like what? Ta'mali. Ta'malina. Right? Ta'malina would be the word. I got a present tense word. So first thing is you need to get the, if you are preparing, of course we will not need this because we are trying to understand this language to understand the words of Quran. So the word will already be there. But this is a good practice to think other way also, so that we get to the crux of it, understand everything inside out. So we are doing this English to Arabic. So in this, the word was ta'amalu, but for the singular female, it will be ta'amalina. Okay, ta'amalina. Now we can start the process. Make it lightest. Ta'amali. Okay, drop the ta. Cannot pronounce. Add a alif. Second last word has got a kasra. Add a kasra. I'mali. I'mali. I'mali means, hey, you feminine. Do or work. I'mali. I'mali. You feminine assume. So hasiba yahsabu. Yahsabu becomes tahsabu. Tahsabu becomes tahsabina. That's a female. Tahsabina. Tahsabina, lightest. Tahsabi. Okay. Tahsabi, drop the ta. Can't pronounce. Add a alif. There's a kasra on the second last. Ihsabi. Ihsabi. Assume. Both of you female leave. Kharaja, yakhruju is the family. Yakhruju becomes takhruju. And takhruju becomes, oh, this is what, dual? Okay. So takhruju becomes takhrujani. Dual. Takhrujani. Lightest. Takhruja. Takhruja. Drop the ta. Cannot pronounce. Add a alif. The second last has got a dhamma on it. So ukhruja. Both of you leave. Whether it's male or female doesn't matter. दोनों के लिए एक ही word है. उखरुजा. All of you take, female. Okay, take ittakhaza yattakhizu. Yattakhizu becomes tattakhizu. And this is what? All of you. Okay, so tattakhizu, tattakhizina, tattakhizani, tattakhizna is the word. Tattakhizna. Okay, lightest, same. Tattakhizna. Drop the ta. Can't pronounce. Add a alif. There's a kasra on the second last. So, ittakhizna. This can only come with the practice. The more you practice, and this is a good exercise to go from English to Arabic. Because in this, you have to create the word. So, the whole table is revised. In the one that is already Arabic, all you have to do is start with the process. Okay, make it lightest. Drop the ta. And that's what we need. But if you do it this way, this will really make your understanding of table, recalling of the words, creation of the words very, very strong. So you can do this once you become good, strong in the from Arabic to English, then go to English to Arabic. Okay, so ittakhizna, all of you women take. Okay, what else? You get big. Okay, you get big. That is kabura yakburu. Kabura yakburu. Yakburu becomes takburu, and that's the word we want. You masculine get big. Takburu. So takburu lightest is takbur. Takbur. The moment I drop the, I can't pronounce. So I will add a helper alif. The second last has a dhamma on it. Takbur, right? So the alif gets dhamma. So you get what? Ukbur. Bade ho jao. Get big. Ukbur. Become matured. Ukbur. Both of you congratulate. Both of you congratulate. Okay, bashara yubashiru. Yubashiru becomes tubashiru. And dual will be tubashirani. Dual will be tubashirani. Okay, tubashirani lightest. Tubashira. Okay, tubashira. I dropped the ta. No difference. Bashira. That's it. Bashira means both of you congratulate. Both of you congratulate. Both of you congratulate. You all make. Ja'ala yaj'alu. Yaj'alu will become taj'alu. But what do I need? I need plural. Okay. So taj'alu, taj'alani, taj'aluna. Taj'aluna. Okay. Taj'aluna lightest. Taj'alu. Drop the ta. Can't pronounce. Add a helper alif. Oh, the second last has got a fatha. So the helper alif gets a kasra. So all in all, ij'alu. Ij'alu. All of you make. All of you make. So once you go through this couple of times, you will realize the moment you are reading Quran, you come across a commanding word. Of course, forbidding is easier because you can easily make it out with the la. Okay, so you need little bit of practice, then inshallah it becomes second nature, recognizing the command, creating the command and all. It's not hard, as you can see. It's just how good you are at the tables. The point that I have been hammering from last so many sessions. Memorize the table, master the table. If you master the table, the rest of the things fall in place automatically. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. What's the key to it? Memorizing and understanding the tables in our course. Whatever tables are there, I think there are like maybe less than 10, maybe 7, 8 tables. Muslimun, Muslimatun, Muslimun light, pronouns, ismu, ishara. So past tense, present tense, that's it. Like less than 10. But if you master those 10 tables, your 20-day course will be super smooth, very smooth. You need to put little bit effort. Okay, any questions on this? I think that officially wraps up the complete material that usually we complete in the basic course, which is a 6 months course. As you all might have realized by now, this is a 6 months course, which is almost like a 30 hours. It goes for 30 hours because it's once a week. But alhamdulillah, by squeezing it a little bit, we were able to manage it in this first 20 days of the Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. Any questions on any of the sessions or any of the thing related to Arabic, of course, you are free to ask.
Sir, I have a question. When we it's regarding the tilawat, when we read there is a khada zabar and there is a mad. Anything in relation to that?
Well, khada zabar is a product of Indian subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, whatever it is. This is not usually used in the outside of Indian subcontinent. It's basically a ah sound. So you can say wherever you see khada zabar, they call it as dagger alif. It looks like a khanjar, dagger alif in the font language. So that is a ah sound basically. It can be replaced with the alif. So wherever you have dagger alif, you can think that this is a alif, additional alif. That is. Mad is an extension. Mad is an extension. So basically, yeah, you can say this is a extension ah of ah sound. So usually it is like muslimatun, ma. So that is one notch. But if I want to increase this 2-3 notch, I say muslimatun. This is mad. This is extension. This is extension. Why? Because there is an alif there. But some of the letters, they are written with that dagger alif. Especially when you see the Mushaf and the Qur'an printed in the Indian subcontinent, you use that dagger alif, khada zabar. Anyway, we don't use zabar also. So that's here. But that you can treat it like a alif. Yeah. What else? So with that, we have come to the end of this. Just one last thing, just to show you. Usually when we complete this course in our normal cycle, after every aspect, if there is something beautiful or mesmerizing in the Quran related to that aspect, we usually show that that linguistic feature, usually in the form of a video, or we discuss it to keep the student motivated and show them what they are going to experience once they start learning or keep learning this language. Because see, Arabic is a very dry language. Everybody understands it. You might have yourself tried learning grammar so many times, so many different institutions, different syllabuses, different books, different audience, different teacher, different ustad. But many a times it goes for a while and then that goes down. So what I realized was this, of course, I'm not an exception to this. I had also gone through this cycle every time, especially Ramadan comes, you hear those powerful speeches by the scholars, okay, you need to read the Quran and all that, and you are like, okay, I need to learn this language. Again, you sit, you goes for a week or maybe for a Ramadan, and the Ramadan goes down, wrap up the book, now it will come up again next year. So this vicious cycle was going on, right? So this is the dry subject. So you need to form a way or something that will keep you motivated to keep this learning. So one of the ways is that, okay, you be among those people, so who are fascinated about this language, who also care about this language, who are also having a zeal to learn this language, right? So we come up with different techniques to keep this motivated, and that's why we showed this video, like you studied Mawsuf Sifa. So we have a video, we show that, see how beautiful it is arranged there, or see the miracle of the Quran. The Quran is a word of Allah, and it is full of miracles. It's full of things that make us like, wow. And there are many things that we can discuss with many people. Like, for example, if you say Quran talks about the birth cycle, right from the time the human being is conceived in the womb of the mother till he grows up, and all those stages are mentioned. The birth, the water cycle is mentioned, right? And there are so many things miraculous in it. Language wise, science wise, history wise, the Persian and the Roman empires were fighting for so many years. So many years they were fighting together, and every time the Roman Empire was winning. The Roman Empire was very, very powerful. But once it happened that the Persian Empire destroyed the Roman Empire completely, and it was destroyed to such an extent that if we were there to witness it, we would say, that's it. Now this era is finished. Now the Romans can never stand on their feet. They were defeated so convincingly by the Persian Empire. And there were so many, what you can say, there were so many distractions, and there were so many divisions in that Roman army that there was no way they could recover. In such situation, Quran comes and says, hey, you know what? Shortly Rome is going to win. So if those people who were witnessing that, they said, what are you talking about? And then you see that after some time, the prophecy comes true, whatever Allah said comes. So what I'm trying to say is there are so many wow things in Quran that we can discuss with anybody, right? Like the salt water not mixing with the sweet water in Surah Rahman, the science has proved it, right? Quran talking about bee, shahid ki makki, and it talks about is in the female gender. And then today science says that it's the female bee that works and creates the honey, it's not the male. And Quran precisely uses the female word for the bee, right? Another example is Musa alayhi salam addressing his people. He always uses Ya Qawmi, Ya Qawmi, Ya Qawmi, oh my people, oh my nation, oh my nation. He always says that. But the moment you see Isa alayhi salam talk, there is a verse where both of them talk in the same ayah, or I think it's alternate ayah. Musa says Ya Qawmi, Isa alayhi salam says Ya Bani Israel. Isa alayhi salam never uses the word Ya Qawmi, even though both of them have been sent to the children of Israel. They are the prophets for them. But one uses Ya Qawmi, my nation, the other uses Ya Bani Israel. What's the difference? Why doesn't Isa alayhi salam say that? So when you pay attention, you see that Musa alayhi salam had a father. He was born in that tribe, that community. So those were his people. Your lineage, or you being part of a tribe, is attributed with respect to father. Isa alayhi salam didn't have a father. So Quran precisely uses the word Ya Bani Israel. Isa alayhi salam never says, oh my people, because he is not from that people. He doesn't have a father from that tribe or community. So the point that I'm trying to make is the Quran is full of such things, and you can discuss these things with all the Muslims and they will appreciate it, right? But then there are certain things which we cannot discuss with anybody else. I mean, not any other Muslim. Again, they are related to Quran, but we can't discuss with them. Why? Because this needs the knowledge, at least the basic knowledge of the language. You need to know the little bit of grammar. Then only so there are miraculous aspect in Quran, linguistic. You and me, maybe at this stage, maybe we can discuss some basic things. And that's what I want to point out and end this course here to show you what all we are missing. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Look at this ayah. Okay, this is from Surah Kahf, Surah number 18, ayah number 82. Okay, Allah says, وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارُ فَكَانَ لِي غُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. Okay, وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارُ, amma means as for, जहाँ तक के इसका सवाल है बोलते ना, जहाँ तक के इसका, वो जहाँ तक, अम्मा जिदारू, जिदार मीन्स वॉल, दीवार. एज फॉर द वॉल, जहां तक के दीवार का सवाल है, फकाना ली गुलामैनी यतीमैनी. सो इफ यू कैन हियर दिस, गुलामैनी यतीमैनी साउंड्स both of them same ending, मौसूफ सिफा. गुलाम मीन्स बॉय, गुलामैनी टू बॉयज, यतीमैनी ऑर्फन. So Ghulamaini Yatimaini is Mawsuf Sifa, two orphan boys. Okay? Wa ammal jidaru fakana li ghulamaini. As for the wall, जहां तक के दीवार का सवाल है, वो उन दो लड़कों की थी. It belonged. Li means for. Li ghulamaini yatimaini. For the two orphan boys. Fi madinati. Fil madinati. Fi means in. Madina, city. In the city. So as for the wall is concerned, it belonged to the two orphan boys in the city. وَكَانَ تَحْتَهُ kanzun. Okay, kana, you don't know the meaning, it means to be. It's a past tense. You see, it's ending in fatha. Okay, kana is like nasara. The sound is a little bit different, but ending is ana. So huwa form. Is there an outside doer? Yes, kanzun. A rafa word after it. So kanz means well, a treasure. Khazana. वो पता नहीं बचपन में सुनता था मैं. दिस इज आई थिंक इट्स द सेम वर्ड. आई यूज्ड टू हियर मेनी पीपल दे आर रीडिंग दिस बुक गंजुल अर्श, दुआए गंजुल अर्श. I think it's not Ganjul, it is Kanjul. I think so. If it is, I don't know the authenticity of those books, but this is what I remember. Ganjul ni Kanjul, Dua Ganjul Arsh. It means treasure from the throne of the Allah. I don't know. But this is Kanjul, treasure. So, Wakana tahtahu Kanjan, which means treasure was beneath it. Tahta means beneath it. And there was a treasure beneath it, lahuma, for both of them. Wakana abu huma, and as for their, abu is father, huma is an attached pronoun, so it is mudaf mudafili. Their father, both of them's father. And as for the both of them's father of theirs, Salihan, he was a very righteous person. For arada, arada, okay, it's a past tense, ending with fatha, huwa form. Is there outside doer? Is there a ism in the rafa state? Rabbu, outside doer for arada. Rabbuka, mudaf mudafili. So their master intended. Arada, irada matlab intend karna. So for arada rabbuka, and your master intended what? An yabluga, that both of them reach. Balaga yablugu means to reach. Yabluga ashaddahuma. Ashaddahuma, ashaddu comes from the word shiddat. Shiddat in the sense, one of the meaning is to become mature, to become powerful. Shiddat, takat, that's what it means. Ashaddahuma. Your master intended both of them reach their maturity. Wa yastakhrija. Istakhraja, yastakhriju means to extract. Kharaja means to leave. So one of the form is istakhraja. Wa yastakhrija, there's a alif ending because it's talking about the two boys. Wa yastakhrija, and both of them can extract or take away. Kanzahuma. Kanzahuma. Kanza, treasure. Huma, their treasure. Treasure of them. Kanzahuma rahmatan min rabbika, as a mercy from their master. So basically it says, as for the wall, it belonged to the two orphan kids in the city, and below that wall there was a treasure for both of them. And because their father was a very righteous man, he has hidden that treasure inside it. The wall was about to fall, right? We know that story. So Allah intended that they should get their wealth. It's their property. Their father has earned for them. So that's why Khidr alayhi salam was preparing that wall. Now what is the uniqueness? Why are we discussing this? Because we have studied some aspect of the language, and I want to show you how Allah speaks. Why your Qur'an is unique, why the words cannot be understood from word for word or just normal translation. No, you need to have the proper understanding of the language to appreciate the speech of Allah. Nobody speaks like this. Nobody can speak like it. So if you might have read this verse so many times in the Ramadan, so for those of people who finish 2 Qur'an, 3 Qur'an, they might have gone through 2-3 times. But never paid the attention to the uniqueness of the speech of Allah. Look at this. Two words I'm highlighting. Kanzun lahuma. Okay, this is one of the word. Kanzun lahuma. Kanzun, I told you. Okay, this is the treasure. Now, these two words, kanjul lahuma, are they into the relationship of mudaf mudaf ilayh? Yes or no?
Yes.
They are in the mudaf mudaf ilayh. So kanzun is mudaf and lahuma is mudaf ilayh. Come on, quickly. Is there anyone, or am I speaking to myself?
Sir, control is not a light.
No.
Kanzun is not light, which means it is not mudaf. Well, forget about la. Why are we going to la? First of all, is the mudaf ready? Forget about mudaf ilayh. Can we not check the mudaf itself?
No, sir, the mudaf is not ready.
That's it. So why do I need to check la and huma and all mudaf ilayh? Even if there is a mudaf ilayh, it's not a idafa, because kanzun is heavy. It's not a mudaf. So no question of this being in the mudaf mudaf ilayh. Now, when the two words are into the relationship of mudaf mudaf ilayh, or any relationship, jar majroor, mudaf mudaf ilayh, mausuf sifa, they become one unit. They have a relationship between them. Just like we studied how to figure out what do you call it as ease, figuring out ease. Is there a ease between them? Whenever the link is broken, we used to put ease there. So whenever these words get into the relationship, they become one unit. Now they have a relation. They are tied with some link. So mudaf mudaf ilayh, before they became mudaf mudaf ilayh, they were two different words. Any words. Let's say Rasulun, Allahu. Two different words. Rasulun and Allahu. Messenger and Allah. But if you want to make a relationship between these two words, we modify Rasulun to Rasulu. We may modify the word Allah to Allahi. Now they become one unit. It's one unit now. Now you can't say these are two words. No, this is idafa, mudaf, mudaf ilayh. Now you can't break it. You whatever treatment you want to give, you have to give it together, because they are into the linguistic relationship of mudaf, mudaf ilayh. So whenever two words come into the relationship, they become one unit. They are tied. They are related. So in this kanza lahuma, they are not mudaf mudaf ilayh, which means they are separate. Two words. Kanzun is a separate word. Lahuma is a separate word. Lahuma is into relationship. Yes, for both of them. This is jar majroor. Anyway, but we are talking about kanzu lahuma, which means these two words are separated. Now, if you see the context of the ayah, this is talking about the two orphan boys and the treasure which their father has kept for them. Now, at this stage, when Allah is talking about these two boys and their treasure, are the boys and the treasure together? Are they joined with the treasure? Did they get their treasure?
Yes.
They got their treasure. They are still boys. Allah said they need to reach their puberty. They didn't get their treasure. They are yet boys. Allah said, I need to hide it till they become ashadduhuma, till they reach their maturity. Then they can take it. Istakhraja. They can talk about. So at this stage, when Allah is talking about the treasure and the two boys are separated from the treasure. They didn't get their treasure yet. They don't even know it. So what does Allah do? He separates the treasure and the boys. So linguistically also the treasure, kanzun, and lahuma, they are separated. Huma means both of them. Kanzul means treasure. Even the words are separated. They are not joined. There is no relationship between the word kanzun and lahuma. No relationship. Okay. But in the same ayah, Allah uses the same word again after He says, when both the boys grow up, they can take their wealth. What does He do? Look at the last part of the ayah. Kanzahuma. The word kanza has become light. No al. And the huma is attached to it. Kanza is a treasure, noun, ism. Huma is an attached pronoun. We studied the rule. When the pronoun attaches to an ism, it becomes idafa. They come into the relationship of mudaf mudaf ilayh. Now the treasure and the boys are related. They are linked. When they become mature. Look at that linguistically. He just removed the la in between and made the kanzul light. What happened? Even linguistically, Allah is telling they will be united with their treasure. Now they are linked. And when he was talking about their current status, they were separated. Will you get this aspect when you just read it? Or will you get this aspect when you read word for word? Never. You can only understand this, and we are discussing this because we have studied this aspect little bit. So we are appreciating it. Try explaining this miracle of the Quran to someone who does not know grammar. They will say, what are you talking about? What was this? I don't understand anything. But had I discussed this 20 days before, maybe most of you would have also not appreciated. But now after 20 days of hammering of this basic concepts of this language, today you can say, wow, I never thought about this ayah this way, that Allah speaks like this. Even in his speech, he is making sure that the words match the situation. Mudaf mudafili, not, and then mudaf mudafili. That's how this whole thing comes up. So this is just one of the tip of the iceberg. There are so many wow moments in the Quran that can only be understood and appreciated the more we try to understand this language. I hope that makes sense. With that, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts all of our efforts and makes the most of this month. The remaining 10 days are there. I hope we make the most of it and not let it go without our forgiveness, and pray to all your brothers and sisters who are into much difficult position than you and me. You and me are in paradise compared to the situations of those people. Even though we might think that we have our own challenges, but some of the people are facing challenges which we cannot even imagine in our dream. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring justice and help all those people and recompense them with the amount of difficulty that they are facing. May Allah make their situation easy. With that, I think we should end. If you have any questions, you are free to ask. Otherwise, we will end this session here. Now, for those of you who are still interested, then inshallah, after Ramadan, there might be a batch which starts with advanced one, because whatever you have finished right now, this is the basic course that the student goes through, and then there is an advanced one. Now, actually, advanced one is not really advanced one. Actually, that is also a basic course. But since the course might become too long, especially now you completed in 20 days, but for a student who is completing the basic course in a usual time frame of 6 months, if we add that other course also to it, it will become too long. So in the initial stage itself, if we say the basic course is 9 months, 10 months, it demotivates the people. So that part has been taken aside, which is sarf, which I told you, the basics of Quranic Arabic or basic of the Arabic language are standing on 2 pillars, Nahu and Sarf. Nahu is the grammar, which we studied in the 20 days. There is something called as Sarf, morphology, the families of the verbs, the different types. That is another foundation. On these 2 pillars, the advanced concepts are built upon. So that advanced one is not really advanced, it's the basic of Sarf. There might be a batch starting after the Ramadan. I don't know the day and time. Usually the day, most of the people, I don't know, but they are preferring the weekend. We don't have any time slot, so we'll have to carve out if there is. So there might be a course after Ramadan. So those of you who wish to continue their studies, they can keep in touch in the group. Don't leave the group, so that you get the update when the batch starts, or you can inquire in that group. And those of you who wish to continue your beautiful study, join that course and then continue your studies from there on, inshallah. So we have courses lined up from advanced 1 to advanced 10, and then we have expert series, the dream series. So it never ends. It's up to you, when do you want to stop. We don't stop. There is no end to learning. So don't ask me when will we complete the course, because I myself don't know. I'm still studying. Okay? Any questions? No questions? Okay. If not, then inshallah, let's call it a day. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
So we'll Just 20 days.
इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह जज़ाकल्लाह खैर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।